Hi everyone and welcome to vlog 0. Kind of the start vlog where I recap the past 6 months that I haven't been vlogging so that we can just start with weekly vlogs from now on because I am so hyped for this. But first, if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. It warms my heart that you want to spend some time with me. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Marika. I am from Stockholm, Sweden, where I live with my boyfriend and my 2 cats. And this channel is the real life of me. It is my daily vlogs because I really enjoy this. So to get into it, this is going to be the past 6 months. I left off with you in December. I was going to vlog every day when I was on vacation, and I didn't because vacation, to be honest, completely sucked. It is the worst vacation that I ever had. But it had some highlights, so let's get through the highlights before we get into the sadness. So, first thing, I got my 40th birthday present. By the way, I turned 42 this year, so it was a little bit late, but hey, it's okay. So when I turned 40, my boyfriend printed out a sheet of different images of jewelry and said, pick one, you get one of these. The plan he had was that he wanted me to buy something for me that I wouldn't buy myself. He never bought jewelry for me before. We don't really do gift giving that much, even though gift giving is my love language. He wanted me to pick out one. It was from the park collection from Disney. He thought we could pick it up at Disney, so we went to Disney in 2021. However, we couldn't pick anything up because they don't have the park collection in the parks. But anyhow, you could get it online on the store. However, the American store, which actually have the jewelry, don't deliver to Sweden or deliver jewelry to Sweden. So we had to think a little bit out of the box, and in the end we actually bought it from the store and had it delivered to our Disney hotel in 2022. So yeah, and this is the ring that I got, that we picked up. It is so gorgeous. It's very reminiscent of a ring that I lost, that I got from my grandma, that I lost many years ago. And yeah, I'm really happy to have this because it makes me remember my grandma on my father's side a lot, and also it's from Christopher and it's my first diamonds. So yeah, awesome. Second highlight was of course Disney. Disney is always wonderful. We only had 3 nights there, and I can say from my perspective that is too short. I need to have at least 4 nights, if not longer, at Disney, so that I feel that I can give the time to the parks and also feel that I can kind of get around. So I was a little bit stressed, but it was beautiful. And my third and final really big highlight was I got to see my friend Marie and her family. It's something I have been looking forward to now. When we go there to meet up with her and chat a little bit, we exchange some gifts and stuff. It was great. I really need to keep a better contact with her, but she's an awesome person, so awesome. So now to why my vacation. That sounded really nice. So why were you vacation not so good? Well, here's the thing. I go to Florida for one big reason, and that is the heat. I have connective tissue inflammations in my body due to my lupus, which causes a lot of pain, especially when it's cold weather. So I go to Florida to get warm weather. Guess what? Most of my Florida trip, it was actually warmer in Sweden than it was in Florida. At that time, we had a very mild December. I am not happy about it. We had temperatures between 10 or 4 degrees Celsius up to about 22. Out of those days, I think 3 of them was about 18 degrees. I think 4 of them was about 15, and everything under that. It was cold and it didn't go well with my body. So I wasn't really happy about it. Secondly, after the first week we were in Lakeland, and then we were at Disney, and then we went to the west coast of Florida. I wasn't aware that the algae bloomies, the red algae bloomies, was so intense this year. And we came to our hotel in St. Petersburg just directly after Disney. And when I stepped out of the car, my throat just almost closed up. My throat was hissing when I was breathing. And slowly, those few days, I started coughing. First, I was afraid there was something else, but I actually found out that I just had pneumonia due to red algae. Yay! So my 2 weeks, we had a 3-week vacation, and the last 2 weeks basically just was coughing my lungs out. I was able to find some coughing medication so that we were able to go out and do a few things the last like 2 days of the trip, but otherwise it was just a waste of time, to be honest, and waste of money. That is also another negative part of this. So we've been going to Florida since 2013, I think, was the first time we went, and the prices has gone up drastically, and it's actually even gone up drastically since 2021 when we were there last time. And it's a combination of that the prices in Florida, the inflation has made the prices go up a lot, so things have almost doubled just from that. But on the same time, because of inflation, the Swedish crown has weakened against the dollar. So when we went last time, the dollar was worth about 7 crowns. So I would get, for every dollar, I would pay 7 crowns. Now, when we were there, I almost were paying $10 per dollar. 10 crowns per dollar, which is like 3 SEK per dollar more. And then you, on top of that, having a price that also have gone up and doubled. Our budget, we had to increase it with 70%. It was way too much money, especially when you were not able to enjoy it. So yeah, I had a really bad vacation. I came back to Sweden. I still had my cough and my pneumonia. It did go away after a couple of weeks. So yeah, that was not fun at all. And I was kind of, because I didn't have time to rest going into my vacation, I actually had hit a wall. I actually hit a wall already spring of last year, and then I just kept going, and that wasn't very healthy of me, but I kept going anyhow. So I was kind of worn out. I was really worn out and tired and exhausted. Then I had the pneumonia with that. And then all of my doctor's visits. Doctor's visits for me is quite hard, like mentally, because I have to prepare for them, because social interactions isn't really my thing. And I'm chronically ill, so I have 5 different specialist doctors that I go to on a regular basis. I also have a GP, however my GP has gone, and I need to figure out that thing about getting a new one, and I'm about 1.5 years in, and I still haven't found out, because I think that is a hard thing to do. Anyhow, my specialist, every year I go to my specialist and we take all the tests, we figure out if we need to change my medication in any shape and form, and then I see them again next week or next year. So first I met my endocrinologist. They take care of my prolactinoma, and sorry about the pronunciation, but the ist things are hard for me to pronounce. So I usually just call it my endo. But anyhow, they take care of my prolactinoma. Prolactinoma is a non-cancerous tumor in the brain, and my prolactin levels have gone down a little bit, so that's awesome. Hopefully that will mean that my prolactinoma also will shrink, and everything will be okay. So happy news there. And second doctor I said was my endogynecologist, which takes care of my menopause. I went into menopause in 2012, so I've been in menopause for over 11 years, and I've been treated with estrogen. She wanted to they always thought that my estrogen treatment is a little bit on the lower side. We are doing that because I do have lupus, and lupus can be negatively affected by estrogen. Also, my migraines, I have chronic migraines, they can also be negatively affected by that. So yeah, she put me on another estrogen medication, or a secondary estrogen medication. It's supposed to be locally, so it shouldn't affect anything, but guess what? I got really massive migraines from it. And it took me a while, because I had migraines coming in January because of the pneumonia and everything. So it took me a while to understand that this was keeping my levels high, because I had like 30 days when I had to take it daily, and then I was supposed to go down to twice a week. And of course I forgot, because twice a week doesn't really work for me, because I forget. And then when I took it again like a week later, I realized I got a really massive migraine. So basically my migraine actually lowered when I didn't have the estrogen. So I stepped that off. I'm not taking that anymore. But I also realized that my other estrogen treatment actually also affects my migraine. Might actually have happened because of us kind of pushing up the estrogen, that it also now starts triggering my other treatments, start triggering some of that too, which is gonna be wonderful, because I now have menopausal symptoms up the gazoo. But it's actually easier to deal with than chronic migraines, so I have a much clearer head than I've had for years. I am super happy about this, but we'll see what my doctors will say, because they won't be. I haven't told them yet. Well, when that was all done, I had my rheumatologist appointment, my rheum appointment. They took a bunch of tests. Last year I tried a medication called methotrexate. I have been tried that before. It is a toxin, so basically it's a light version. You actually use it for some lighter versions of cancer, for cancer treatment. So it's basically killing off cancer treatment, but also it pushes down your immune system, and that is what you want to do when someone have lupus, because people with lupus have an overactive immune system where the immune system attacks itself or yourself. So basically my immune system thinks that I am a virus. Yay. But yeah, so they wanted me to go on that. I couldn't take the pills before because I get really bad tummy issues with it, so they wanted me to go with the syringes. I got the same kind of bad tummy issues anyhow, so I had to quit it. But apparently it affected my liver. So when they took my tests, I had heightened liver values, so they sent me to a liver doctor, so my 6th specialist, and they tried a bunch of things, the different tests to see how my liver was reacting and how it was. And while I was going to this doctor, they kind of figured out that those heightened liver values actually went down. So it was probably from the methotrexate treatment, but they did find that I have a fatty liver. I probably had it for years. A fatty liver isn't really an issue at a whole, but if you are obese or if you have diabetes, it can be good to kind of see if you can treat something with it, because it can make it worse, make things worse. So I'm actually classified as obese. I gained quite some weight since my surgery, and I ended up being at around 87 kilos. That was the highest weight I ever been at. And when I found this out, I was at 87 kilos, and that is classifying me as obese, so I need to go under at least overweight. So now I am on a diet. It's actually going very, very well, because it's like emotionally I'm connected to, I don't want to make this liver bad. So I actually have lost 3 kilos. I am sugar free, and I'm really happy about it. Other times when I tried to lose weight, it's always been like, yeah, but sugar and cookies. And I'm really good like the first month or so, and then I kind of fall off because I don't have any emotional connection to losing weight. But this time I actually been doing it for about 2 months now, and I'm still feeling that energy and wanting to track my food, making sure that I eat enough, but I eat the right things. It's awesome. And I lost 3 kilos on top of that. That's just amazing. But yeah, it was very, very stressful trying to deal with all of the liver stuff because I was afraid that the liver was broken. I would need to have even more medications. So yeah. At the same time as I was taking my liver tests, I had my yearly checkup for my pap smears, so checking up on my HPV and my abnormal cells, and guess what? I got both HPV and abnormal cells, and I'm now going in for biopsies to make sure that the abnormal cells isn't something bad. That's a little bit stressful. Yeah, that's a little bit stressful because I did have the hysterectomy and we were hoping to remove both the HPV and the abnormal cells, and I don't know if we got both of them or neither of them. So yeah, not a fun thing. I found out on a Friday that that was happening, that my HPV had come back and the everything, but come back. It never disappeared completely, but that the level has gone up, and that I had the abnormal cells. On the Monday next day, this is where the chaos kind of comes in all of this, because this is just like, we're in April now, end of April, beginning of May, when all of these, now we have gone through the first 6 months, we're down to the last month of the story. It's just 16 minutes in, so you know that this is gonna be amazing. So well, I found out this on Friday, and like, I'm very open with my engineering manager about my health and everything, and I kind of come back and like, this is so happening. And then on Monday morning, we come into work, or I log in because I'm remote, and it's like, it's the town hall today. We usually don't have town halls on Mondays, they're usually on Fridays. And I go in, and my CEO sits there, and she's this wonderful person, energetic person. They usually have all the energy. She's always like all made up to the top of her head, and yeah, she's like, she's the same age as me, and I'm like, she's the CEO. She's but anyhow, I comes in this meeting, and she sits there, and she looks so tired. She has no makeup on her face. She's all disheveled, and I knew this is not gonna be good. And she says, "Hi, we are going to have to downgrade. We are going to have to remove this many positions within the UK and Sweden." And when she said that, I knew that I would be on the chopping block. And the reason why I knew is because I have had, like, the first year was a really, really good year for me. So I was working 150%. I was working my ass off. The second year was when the HPV started coming back, and I started getting sick again in my lupus, and I couldn't do 150. I even, in November of last year, I went down to 80% because I couldn't keep up anymore. And I knew that because I couldn't keep up, and because it is a small company, my job would be on the chopping block. We work quite a lot, and I was surprised over some of the people that I know was on the chopping block. So yeah, it was hard. That was a rough thing to know, like, okay, this is what's happening. The day after, they had meetings, like individual meetings with everyone in the company, telling them yay or nay. And as I thought, my position was removed. Now, in Sweden, we have very, very strong rules about how you fire people. And you can't fire people because they're sick. And you can't fire people because they have addiction problem. You have to help them through rehabilitation. You have to give them all the chances to rehabilitate before you can fire them. If people are not doing their job, they need to be informed that they're not doing their job as good, and they need to have a certain amount of months to actually show that they are good at their job before they fire them. When you fire people for economical reasons, there is some areas in this that can be moved, but one of the big things is that Sweden has very strict laws, and one of those says that it's going to be last in, first out. So you make a list of all of the people in the company when you hire them, and the people that are most recently hired are the people that you can fire. And because of us having a very big sales organization, and sales organization usually have a lot of moving parts, a lot of people that come in and come out and come in and come out, kind of shows up that even though I only worked for 2.5 years for this company, I was quite far into this list. So they couldn't fire me straight out. But what you can do is, first of all, you have to move people around in the company. You don't have to do this to be able to move people around in the company, but if you do this, you have to give an opportunity for people to stay in the company if they want to, if they're that high on the list. And then also they could do what they did with me and give them an offer that they can't refuse. So it took them about 2 weeks. It was stressful 2 weeks. I did a lot of different things during those 2 weeks to make sure that I had a job at the end of this that wasn't with this company. I love this company. I love the people at this company. I don't blame them at all for this change. This has nothing to do with them. It has to do with the land of how business is. It has to do with like all the recession and all of those things. I'm not at all angry with people. Just so you know, I really like this company. I really like the people in there, and they are wonderful, the people that stay. I wish you all the luck out there, and the people that had to leave. I'm really sorry to see that you had to go, but it's business. But I also knew that I needed a new job. So I knew that they said like, we're gonna get back to you in a week to tell you how this is gonna work out. That week ended up being 2 weeks, which really annoyed me because I just wanted this over with. But during that, like the first day, Christopher's like, you're gonna need to do something, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a day. I'm gonna take a day, okay? I'm gonna take a day. So the first day I was, second day, in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need to figure out how to get a new job. Now, I have 15 years in the business. I worked for a couple of companies that are quite cool, and therefore I also work in a section of this business that always need new people. There are more positions than there are people that have my education. On top of that, I am a full stack. It's very hard to find people like me. Find people that have the interest in the code that I have. So getting a job, I knew wasn't to be too hard, but I just hate all of that because I'm not a good tester. That is one thing. Most companies want you to do a test to see how good your technical knowledge is. I'm really bad at testing. I'm really good at my job, but something with the testing, I like IQ tests. I hate IT tests because my brain gets so stressed, so it just blanks out, basically. That's how it works. While when I'm working, I'm really good at it. So I don't know what that is, but sometimes life is that. So I wasn't looking forward to going to different places. And then I sat down and I'm like, where do I really want to work? Now that I have this opportunity, where do I want to work? And the first thing that popped into my head is, I want to work my previous job. I love my previous job. I was a consultant there, but I want to be employed now. Like, I really like the place. But as a consultant, you have limitations that you don't have as an employee. So I'm like, how do I get this? Who do I know that can get me in? I'm like, my last engineering manager, the person that got me in as a consultant, I have him on LinkedIn, and he did tell me that when I left that I always had a job with him. Let's try this. And I did, and I sent him a message, and everything went very fast after that. I did open up my LinkedIn a little bit, so I've had a lot of communication with a lot of different people about jobs. But in the end, I chose to go with my previous job. It's not fully my previous job. another kind of position. So here's the thing, like everything convened really, really good to become the way I really wanted it to be. One of the things that I have been wanting to work with for years is app development. Learn more about app development by app developers, getting in there. But when you are where I am, with 15 years in you with as a back-end and front-end developer, but on web, working in apps and getting a job in apps isn't really something people do. Also, when it comes to working in apps, most app developers, they don't do back-end, they don't do front-end, they just do apps. So they're very specialized in what they do. They're really, really good at app development. They don't do all of the other things. Now, for me to get that good in app development, I would need to put 15 years into app development. And nah, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to find a job that could kind of push me into it. And guess what? They had that position in his team. So when I talked to him about a job, he said, hey, we have multiple positions open. We are looking for people in all these different teams. Where do we start? And I'm like, where do we start? I don't know. Do you have something in your team? I really liked having you as my engineering manager. I really liked working with you. There was a position open in my previous team, but I felt I needed to move on a little bit. There were other things involved there, and I wanted to lay that down and let that be. So I'm like, yeah, do you have anything in your team? And he kind of talked about this position, and when he kind of explained, it was like, we need someone with back-end development and iOS, because we need to, the place where those convene, which is APIs, we need someone who knows about both of them. And I said, like, I have taken courses in iOS, but I don't have the knowledge. I'm very good back-end. And he's like, yeah, I know, you're good back-end, we want you. And he's like, yeah, that might actually work for you. That might actually be good for you. And I met with the team, and I was very clear with the team, like, I don't know iOS. I took a course a couple of years, never worked with it. And he's like, yeah, but you're good back-end, you know what you're talking about, you're getting the position. I'm like, me getting a job. So in the middle of the chaos of being sad about losing my job, I was starting to get happy and energized for this new position that I was going to go into. I think I was sort of a little bad at hiding that. And on top of it, I really, like, I've been pushing to build up the company I have that is my own, which is a store. It's an Etsy store. I want to do something much more with it, and you are going to hear more about it throughout these weeks, because I have some fun employment for a couple of weeks more, so that's awesome. But yeah, so I wanted to do the store. So for a short while I was playing with the idea that I would go full-time on the store. But here's the thing, this year so far, the income I've had in my business is $250. That is not the income I need to pay for my bills. So it wasn't really a realistic choice. But I've taken a couple of weeks here to be able to put more time into it and do all of those, like, things that have needed to get done. That is like one thing needs to be done. When they are done, they can just start flowing, and I don't have to think about it. All of those things are going to get done throughout these next couple of weeks. Anyhow, after deciding that that wasn't the way to go, I knew I needed a job, and they actually ended up offering me the job as a backend / iOS developer at this company. And I'm super happy that they did. I'm getting a slight pay increase, which also is super nice. But in this case, wasn't really important. I just wanted a job. And I'm really happy that I got this specific job, because I feel safe. I feel like I'm coming back to something that is safe. so I can put a lot of energy into evolving into this iOS developer that I always wanted to try. So super awesome, super fun. I did come to the end of the 2 weeks where I got an offer from my old company. They had taken out 2 different roles that I could have taken, but they also had an offer. And going into those negotiations, I was expecting them to say this. I would be countering with that so that we could kind of be on the middle. And they gave me the offer. I looked at the offer and it's like, this is the middle. I don't even gonna mess with this. This is the middle. And it was a really, really good deal. I can't tell you all the ins and outs of the deal, but let's say this. I am getting some money in my pocket. I'm also not needing to work. And the time, I don't have to worry about getting in when I get a new job, because I still get the money. All of that is checked off. So I have taken almost 7 weeks of fun employment. Yeah. I wanted to push it a little bit longer, but I couldn't really do that because they really want me to go into the next company. But I got 7 weeks of vacation. As you see, this ends up being really good. So yeah, it was stressful 2 weeks that felt like a year, but I'm out of it. I left on that day, so I signed the contract, I finished off my computer, and then I left. Just out the door. Left all of the electronics, everything. It went a little bit too fast, so I didn't have the time to really connect with people before I did. But I really just needed to get out of the door. I felt that I didn't do my job anymore because I just didn't feel it. I was so sad about losing the job. Like, here's the thing. I'm going from a really good job to a really good job. So yeah, but I'm gonna miss all of the colleagues that I built up on. I'm very bad at keeping connections with people. Like relational things are hard for me, so I usually don't. But yeah, I really liked my colleagues, and I really liked my boss. He's an awesome person, and I'm sorry to leave and leave him behind with all of this, but I'm happy to be where I'm going. I'm really happy to have these weeks off. Now, I was supposed to start vlogging last Monday. However, here's the thing. With all of the work things done, I'm going back at the end of June to my new job, or going to my new job at the end of June. So we are going to have some wonderful 5 weeks together. We're going to have more weeks together, but that is where I'm going to start it off, with this kind of slow going. I'm doing it weekly because then I can have days when I'm kind of having an off day, when I'm just stitching or anything, and I don't have to talk to the camera too much and you don't get bored. That's the kind of the idea. But we have one thing left that is still an open question. It has to do with my HPV and my abnormal cells. So I did find out about it like just the week before I found out I lost my job. I think most people would have broken down and cried a lot. I didn't really. I did cry a little bit, but in the whole thing, it was such a whirlwind, and I'm just so relieved. I was so stressed at that job, and I was so burnt out on that job, and in reality, I'm gonna be honest, I should have left like 6 months ago. 6 months ago to a year ago, I should have left. And gone to another place, because this was just chaotic, and I love the people. That was why I was staying. But I shouldn't. I should have left, because I feel so relieved now. I feel so much lighter now. I feel so much better now. So yeah, it's kind of becoming something. But the HPV and the abnormal cells, I finally got to see the doctor a couple of weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, I think. And we sat down and we talked about it. And here's the thing. I have a very hard time getting pap smears and stuff done. I have lupus. When my lupus is active, I have secondary Sjögren's, which means that all surfaces that are moist are not as moist as they should be. And that also includes the nether region, which means having a gynecologist doing their thing, it hurts like hell. So having all of these tests done and all of those things, it's very hard on me because it hurts. Like, it hurts. It's screaming and crying and just don't want to be there kind of a hurt. And I talked to her. She's my new gynecologist. I hadn't met her before, and she's like, well, we'll put you under to do these things. Then that's not a question. And I'm like, you say? I've been having this issue for years, and this is the first time I hear about being able to be put under to do this. So on Sunday, on Saturday, I will going in to the hospital to get this done. So I'm going in middle of the day, and I'm going to be put under, and they are going to take biopsies, basically look at the abnormal cells, take biopsies. So basically how they usually do it is, because I've done this a couple of times awake in pain, but they have a scope. It's not a microscope, but it is a scope that will kind of get things a little bit more bigger, so they can look at it. And then they will paint it with iodine, paint the insides of you with iodine, and the abnormal cells will show up as white dots. And that white they will then use a kind of a clipping tool, and they will clip a little bit of it to test it, to see which kind of where it is. If it is kind of a light, medium kind of a abnormal cell, or if it's a rough one. It also helps them to kind of see where it is, just to then kind of decide on what to do with it. In my case, I don't even know what to do with it. Before, I knew that you could have conizations, where you take a cone out of your cervical tip. You can burn it away. You can, in the worst case scenario, have a hysterectomy like I did. I did it because I've been in menopause for over a decade, so having children, like having a uterus, wouldn't make a difference at all. So for my case, that was kind of why we went there. But I don't have anything of those things left to do, so I don't know how they would do it now, but they're gonna have to do it. They're gonna have to remove those abnormal cells. So there's still a stress there, but it's so much smaller. It's so much smaller. So I must say, it's been a whirlwind of a 6 months. And I have told you here in like 45 minutes, something like that. See how much it's gonna be when I chop it down. But that's been my life for the past 6 months. It's been stressful health, waiting for things to clear out, waiting to see, like the liver thing was a month and a half of worrying, and this abnormal things, I had my pap smear the 30th of March, so that has been almost 2 months of stress. So everything is just like, it's coming back and coming back and coming back. It's so many things that I need to get done. So it's been stressful, but I'm on the other side of most of it, and I feel so much easier, so much, everything has lightened, and I'm just happy about it. Also, a new thing that you might have seen, I have orange hair. It's kind of orangey pink purpley, because I just color over the previous dye, and I was pink purple before. But yeah, I think I'm coming into to my fall period. And this is the thing. In Swedish we have a little word called or kind of, you describe when someone gets old, especially like going retiring and some things like that. It's on the fall of age. That's a kind of a direct translation. So I don't know what you would say in English, but basically you say that those times is on your fall. So basically when you're born it is spring, and then you grow up, summer, the summer, winter. The summer is kind of your big days when you're strong young person fighting for stuff, and then you come into your fall times, and then when you get really, really old, it's your winter. But anyhow, it's kind of fun because I'm 42 years old, but I don't feel like 42. I feel like I'm a child still. I don't know. Well, I've come to the point where I actually feel that I'm over 18, and that's a good thing. But yeah, I started stitching a lot of fall colors last year, around August, September, October there. And I'm like, I just want to color my hair orange. I want to have fall colors. But at the time I had so bright orange, but purple hair, I didn't know what to do with it. I had blue hair also. And blue and orange there, if you mix them, you become brown, so I didn't know. But yeah, now it's orange and I'm super happy about it. It's wildfire and I feel like a fire. I feel like wildfire right now. I am super energetic and happy and everything. So life is getting better, and I want to share it with you. Like, it's gonna be, I have so many plans coming up, and I thought I'll talk a little bit about them just quickly before we end this video and we start off with the vlogs. So my plans for right now. Step one, I'm not gonna work full time. I'm working 80% at my new job. I'm working fully remote. Those were the two things that I wanted, 80% and fully remote. And I'm working 80% and fully remote, which is awesome. But I'm doing that partly because of health, but partly also because I want time for other things. And the best of this is that my 80% isn't stipulated on anything. It isn't stipulated on health. It isn't stipulated on anything. It is just more time for me, which is, again, awesome. And that time, that extra time that I get, I want to put into my side business, which is my store, which is my designing stuff. When I stepped off card making, I was lost for a while because I didn't really know where I wanted to go. I just kind of realized that card making wasn't the future. It wasn't where I was going. And then I gradually started to understand that maybe putting more time into my store is what I want to do. But putting time in my store also means putting money in my store. So I do need a certain amount of money in my pocket to be able to do everything I need to do. But the secondary thing is I want to design stuff. I've been wanting to design stuff for years. A short period of time I thought that would be designing stickers for like planners and stuff, and I kind of went all in for that and bought all the equipment for that. And then I realized it's a lot of job. It's a lot of work doing the stickers themselves, and I don't use stickers in my planners, so maybe that isn't the thing I should do. So I kind of dropped that, and then I kind of, should I been designing stamps, because stamping and card making was the thing. I quickly kind of threw that out of the window because I'm not good enough as an illustrator. However, I do have some graphic design skills, so I decided to design cross stitches, and I have released multiple now. I released 3 little pillows during Halloween, no, Valentine's, during Valentine. I also released a pattern for when I lost my job. This is what I want to do, and I did it, and it's online. And then I have designed a pattern that I'm going to release this week. So that has been super fun. I picked out my sewing machine. I've been sewing some bags, like project bags that I'm gonna put up in my store. I think I'm going to dye up all the fabrics that I have, because I did fabric dyeing in like 2016, 2017. My back didn't really handle that, but I thought if I just dye up what I have and not buy a new one, not thinking about having a dyeing a company that does dyeing, I'm just gonna have this section is gonna be my dyeing, and that is what I'm going to sell. And then maybe in the future I can take in and do once things like that, but not being a dye shop, just being a cross-stitch shop where I sell all of the things. So I've done a couple of steps to do that. I have now registered the name of my company. Before I was just, my company name is actually my name because I am a sole ownership company. And as a sole ownership, you don't have to register a name for your company. But I decided to actually go ahead and register my name, so I'm now waiting for the Swedish government to do all of the things so that my name gets registered, so that I can actually use that name when I'm trading with wholesale agents and all of those things, because I've used the name for years, but now I kind of just have it connected to my company. So that is kind of the first step of doing this. I also want to get all of the stuff that I already have done up in the store, so that is done. And thirdly, I am going to be shifting my energies from Etsy into a Shopify store. And I've started developing on that store, but it's not done, and I'm hoping that in these 5 weeks I have left, that I can get that store up and running, because Etsy eats a lot of profits. A lot of profits. I did calculation based on I have a monthly fee on Shopify, which I don't have on Etsy, but I did calculations based on the whole, like, how much would I earn kind of a thing when it comes to fees and stuff. I did it on one product only, but on that product I would actually have 50% more earnings in my pocket from that product alone than when I was selling for Etsy. And that was not calculating if the people came in through Etsy ads, because that would add even 15% more of fees to Etsy. So Etsy eats a lot with their fees. It's a high fee thing, and if I want to see if I can do this on my own, I started the FlossTube channel in August, where I kind of present my cross stitching and everything, and partly because I want to do FlossTube, but also partly because I hope to get a following there to see if they want to buy my stuff. Also, I really like the following, and they don't need to buy stuff from me, you know, they're just a follower, we chat, I get friends, I get a lot of friends, but I also want to see if it's a valid thing, if I can open this store and build this store and all of those things. So that is what's going to happen. The first thing though that is happening this upcoming week is that I'm going through huge renovations in my office. Back in 2021, if you were here, I redid my whole office, and I sat 2 kitchen counters on 2 of the walls. So I got like a big corner of kitchen counters. Christopher moved out of that office later on, so I now have, where he was, I have a big bookcase with all of the different stuff in, and then I have my table. And the way it's set up, it is not very functioning for what I want to do. So I started yesterday, and I'm going to show you all through next week the rest of the work. But basically I'm going to keep one of the kitchen counter walls. I'm going to move my computer table to where the other counter was, giving me a whole empty wall on the other side, where I'm going to put up bookcases, which might not come up until a week or two, because I have to get them from IKEA before that. And then I'm also going to remove the bookcase that I have, which is like a bigger shelf. I'm gonna remove that one, and I'm gonna set up a sewing table there, so that I kind of have what I need for my future and for now, to do all the things that I want to do. So yeah, it's gonna be super fun 5 weeks here with just having the day off, maybe taking, I want to go to Skansen, which is a open outside museum, I think they call it. They also have a lot of animals, and they have an aquarium, and I want to go to the aquarium. I also need to pick up stuff from stores and stuff, so I'm going to be out and about a little bit. So I hope you will join me, and that you will want to go in this very much evolving period in my life, where I'm just looking forward, and I'm taking the time right now to relax. I'm doing a lot of cross stitching, I'm breathing, and I'm doing the whole renovation stuff. I'm doing all of these things in a good measurement, just to make sure that I am relaxed when I get back to my new job, which is going to be super exciting. But yeah, that was all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Any questions about anything, because I might have missed stuff, ask in the description down below. I'm an open book. I put my life here out on the internet, but like, I don't mind sharing. So any questions, just comment down below. How are you today? If you don't have any questions, tell me that. Tell me how you are. I really want to hear about your day, because I missed you guys. I missed you so much. I'm doing these videos for me, yes, but I'm also doing it for the connection with you. So if you tell me anything in the comment section down below. Also, I will have everything other linked that I talked about, my channel, my Flosstube channel, my store, everything is linked in the description down below if you want to know where everything is. But yes, this has been a great morning. I am gonna have to edit this, but first I need to go and pick up some meds. But yeah, guys, thank you for staying with me for now almost an hour. Yeah, it ended up being a long video. It wasn't supposed to, but you know, I had a lot to tell you. Anyhow, I'll see you next week. I hope you had an awesome day, an awesome week, full with sun and happiness.